Hello, and welcome to an introduction to eCYBERMISSION. My name is Matt Hartman. Today, I'm going to tell you a little bit about eCYBERMISSION. So, what is it? eCYBERMISSION is a web-based STEM competition that is free to students in grades 6, 7, 8, and 9. Students will work in teams of 3 or 4, and they will choose a problem in their community to explore or try to solve. This is a long-term project, so they'll be working on it over days and weeks, not just one class period. But since it is a competition, there are also prizes available. In each state, we award a first and second place prize in each grade. Each first place winning team receives $1,000 per student in savings bonds, and each second place winning team receives $500 per student. The bonds are purchased at half of the maturity value when they're awarded, and then mature to those final values over time. If a team is one of the top 3 teams in their grade in their region, they would receive another $1,000 per student in savings bonds and the chance to participate in the regional judging. This takes place via a video conference with the judges. If a team is selected as the regional winner in their grade, the team would get another $3,000 per student in savings bonds and an all-expenses-paid trip with their team advisor, an adult associated with the team like a teacher or a parent, to the Washington, D.C. area in June to compete in the National Judging and Educational Event. Here, the team would present their project to judges face-to-face, and if they're selected as their grade's national winner, the team would get another $6,000 per student. But participating in eCYBERMISSION is about more than just winning money. Each year, we have anywhere from 20 to 30,000 students register for eCYBERMISSION, and that number keeps going up. This means that the chances of winning, especially at the national level, are not very high, but the chances of learning something from the project are. Completing a project like this will help develop the skills to conduct complete and robust scientific investigations and engineering projects. It will also help students learn how to conduct research to work well with a group. These are the types of skills that are invaluable in high school, college, and beyond. Also, they get to join a new community online. A community of other students in grades 6 through 9 participating in eCYBERMISSION all across the country and even in other countries around the world. They get to interact with them on the eCYBERMISSION website and via our social media channels like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Getting to know these other students will help them form friendships with people that they otherwise would never get a chance to know. And don't forget, they're helping their community. eCYBERMISSION projects are different from typical science and engineering fair projects because they're required to be community-based. This means they cannot just choose a random topic, no volcano models nor bridge building. Their projects for eCYBERMISSION need to be based on actual problems that they and others in their community face every day. They need to look around them to see what kinds of problems are out there to be explored or solved. They can look in the classroom, the school, the town, the state, or maybe even their own home or backyard. But how to decide if they want to do a science project or an engineering one? You may know this already, but there's a simple way to tell the difference between science and engineering when it comes to what they're doing. If they're solving a problem, especially with a device of some kind, then they're doing engineering. If they're answering a question, it's science. So think about the different projects that you've had them do in your science classes. Some of them were science. If they had a hypothesis, they tested based on a question that they asked, or maybe you told them to ask. But some were engineering, if they instead designed a prototype or any kind of solution to a problem. But whichever path they choose, they're going to be working in a team. Each eCYBERMISSION team needs to be made up of 3 or 4 students. If they have 2, they need to find someone else. If they have 5, they need to split into 2 teams and find one more. Working together in a team is something that scientists and engineers do all the time. It's helpful because sometimes different people have different ideas, and also because they take something that would be a lot of work for one person, and with 3 or 4, it becomes much easier to get done. Students can choose to make their own team with some friends, or maybe they'll find someone that isn't their friend but shares an interest with them. It's also possible that you will assign the students to teams. And they're going to need a team name. Students also need to think of a login name that they want to use, but that login name cannot contain their first or last name. Okay, so let's talk about the kinds of projects that teams have done in the past. This is a list of some of the projects that have won eCYBERMISSION national prizes. you can see that there are very different subjects. But what they all had in common was that the teams completed their projects thoroughly and explained each and everything they did to the judges. Not all of these projects were successful, and not all of their hypotheses were proven correct. But that's not what doing a science or engineering project is about. It's about following the process, even if it means it does not work the way you hope, and learning from the failure. Scientists and engineers use their failures as ways to know what to try in the future, and your students should too. So, how should they go about choosing a topic for their project? Choosing a topic can be a real challenge, especially when they can choose anything they want. So have them take a moment to think about it. Have them ask themselves these questions. What interests you? What problems do you see in your classroom, school, town, etc.? Have them try watching the news, reading the newspaper, asking friends and family what they see as problems. Have them try to come up with a lot of different ideas. So if they start exploring them and find that some are too big to tackle or they don't have the resources to explore them, they can move on to something else. And if this seems overwhelming, they can try to narrow down their choices using our mission challenges. Mission challenges are categories that we use to help narrow down options, and also for when they might be seeking help from professionals. One of the great resources that eCYBERMISSION has available is access to Army scientists and engineers who volunteer their time to help our teams. We use the mission challenges to help us pair teams up with a scientist or engineer who studies that particular field. Maybe one of these categories will help spark an idea of something a team could use as the basis for their project. But whatever they want to explore, you and they are going to need to be registered. Registering is simple. All you need to do is head over to the eCYBERMISSION website and click on Register. Then you'll select Team Advisor from the drop-down menu and complete the registration. After you're registered, your students will be able to register and link their accounts to yours. This way, you'll be able to put them on teams and monitor their work on the mission folder. When your students register, Step 4 will need to be completed by their parent or guardian. Also, since you're going to be putting them onto a team, make sure you know what they want their team name to be. Once you're registered, you'll be able to log in to the eCYBERMISSION website. As I mentioned, it's up to you to put them on a team. You'll also need to enter the team's choice of method, science or engineering, and their mission challenge. If they selected their topic without looking at the mission challenges, just have them go and figure out which one it best fits. This is not used for judging, but it is a requirement. Once you enter all of this, the team will have access to their mission folder, what we call the submission for the competition. When you go into a specific team, it will look like this. You will see the 4 different sections at the bottom. Also, note the resources available on the right. Some of these are forms that the team may need to complete, and the risk assessment form is one that every team must complete. We recommend that teams do not have more than one team member in the mission folder at a time. The mission folder will not update in real time, so if 2 people are in at the same time, they might lose information they entered. They may even want to do all of their work in a separate document, like the mission folder collaboration document. This is a Google Doc that can be copied from our Google Drive into their own, and then the team can work together on it. Once it's completed, they'd copy and paste their answers into the mission folder to submit. Note that the mission verification section includes a checklist for the team, as well as a place for them to write their abstract for their project. When you click on Team Collaboration, you'll see the questions for that section. The team simply enters their answers in those text boxes. Also, note that there are links under some of the questions that say, if you need help with this, look here. If the team is having a tough time answering a particular question, they can click on that link to access a resource that will help them. They do not need to complete the entire section in one sitting. They can always save what they have done by clicking the Save button at the bottom. But again, remember, if 2 people have the mission folder open at the same time, it will save what the last person sees when they click Save. Once all of the sections are complete, the main mission folder page will look like this. I also want to point out that it is on this screen that they can upload files to the mission folder. These would be pictures, graphs, tables, etc. Really any resource that they want to include with their mission folder to help the judges better understand what they did. They should always reference these files in their answers too, so the judges know what to look for in the attachments. They can do this at any time, not just when the sections are marked complete. Note the reminders at the bottom here. The mission verification section includes questions about potentially hazardous biological agents and testing on vertebrates. If they used any potentially hazardous biological agents or tested on vertebrates, they'll need to make sure that they have the proper forms attached, and of course always complete and attach the risk assessment form. Make sure that once they're done with the mission folder, or even while they're working on it, they review the rubrics that the judges use to score the folder. Knowing what the judges are looking for and how they score can help the team get a better score, and have an even better chance of winning. They can find these for both science and engineering on the Advisor Resources page on the website, so don't let them miss out on this valuable resource. You and the team will need to make sure that everything is done and submitted by the submission deadline. This changes each year, so make sure you check the competition timeline on the website, but it's always around the end of February or the beginning of March. You may choose to make certain parts of the mission folder, or the folder itself, due at specific times. Or maybe the team will set their own deadlines for themselves to make sure they're done on time. But when it's time to submit, that is up to you as the team advisor. When you log into your account, you'll be able to access the mission folder. You can read, edit, and submit it. You'll use the button that says Submit Folder. When you click that, you'll either see that the mission folder is not complete, or you'll complete this checklist, much like the one that the students needed to complete in the mission verification section. If you complete the checklist, you'll be able to submit the folder. You can also unsubmit folders if a team realizes they forgot to include something or needs to make a change, but you can only do that before the submission deadline. And once the team has made the changes that they want to make, you'll need to resubmit the folder. If students click on Submit Mission, they'll see a note that explains that their team advisor must submit the folder. Note that once it's submitted, the folder becomes read-only, so you'll still be able to see it. If you think that you've submitted a folder, but you or the team is still able to edit it, then you have not submitted it yet. Now just a quick review of the important dates. Each year, registration opens in early August, but teams can actually start working on a project before they register. In fact, as early as April. Our early registration deadline is usually mid-November, and if we're offering STEM kits that year, students will need to be registered and on a complete team, 3 to 4 students, before then to get one. And each student gets their own. Registration will usually close in mid-December or early January each year, and the projects are due in late February or early March. Hopefully you're excited about eCYBERMISSION. If you need help or have questions, you can contact Mission Control, our help center, by calling 1-866-GO-CYBER, or you can send them an email at missioncontrol@eCYBERMISSION.com. Thanks so much, and good luck.